tell us, we just got confirmation that one person has died. Can you elaborate on a little bit of what happened out here for us, please?
Sure. So officers were called out to the scene just a few minutes ago, and they were called to the scene on, initially it was a disturbance in the neighborhood. Officers dealt with that disturbance in the neighborhood, at which time they cleared said disturbance, and a few minutes later we got another call that there was a shooting at the residence. Officers arrived at the scene of the shooting, and which time they found 3 victims at the residence.
Was that linked to the initial disturbance call?
At this time, we really don't know. The investigators are still working through that. Does not appear to be, but we are still trying to verify if they had any connection at all.
What was the initial disturbance call?
The initial disturbance was just something between neighbors, but there was nothing specific about it that had been released. So again, we're still working to figure that out.
And so since you guys have come back after the initial disturbance call, you guys came back after shots being fired. Did you have a chance to speak with the initial disturbance call, the people that were involved? Did you speak with
Sure.
them?
So we did make contact with one of the people initially involved in the disturbance, and they're at scene right now working through things with the investigative team.
Anyone arrested?
At no time, there are no arrests at this time. Again, still very, very early in the investigation, but no arrests right now.
Do you have anyone detained or in custody?
We have several people that we are talking to. They're not necessarily in custody, but they are detained as we're working through things to find out, more in the investigation.
Are these witnesses?
I'm sorry, say again?
Are they witnesses?
Some are possibly witnesses, some are possibly involved. At this time, it's too early for me to give that official statement.
So we got confirmation that one person's dead. Male, was it a female? Can we have an age or a name?
Well, we're still working through next of kin issues, so we can't identify whom the victim is. But what we can tell you is everyone involved in the situation are related, and we all believe them to live in the same residence.
And is that the home that's roped off right now?
That is correct. That's correct.
Did you recover any weapons in the process of this investigation so far?
They're still working through that. I'm not exactly I'm not exactly sure what they have found yet, so still waiting for the investigators to come and verify all that.
So the person that passed away, is that the person whose condition we did not release earlier, or so are 2 other people still critically injured? Like, where is that person?
Yeah, there's still currently 2 people that are in critical condition at local hospitals that they are working through, trying to do the best they can as far as saving these individuals. But the initial person, to answer your question, that we haven't identified yet, I don't know for sure if that is the same person or not, because again, until the investigators come from the hospital to verify that, I'm not 100% sure.
Just to clarify, you guys haven't identified anybody, correct?
That is correct.
Out of the 3, okay. And the second thing is, we had 2 at Grant and 1 at Mount Carmel. Was it the victim who passed away? Did they die at Grant or did they die at Mount Carmel?
That I'm not sure of at this time.
Do you believe that one person pulled the trigger in all 3 scenarios here, or do you have multiple people that could be potentially?
Sure. I mean, very, very early in the investigation, I'm not really sure. I know when, again, the detectives get here and they start doing some interviews with the people at scene, as well as the victims that were involved, we'll be able to have a little bit more information, pending the outcome of their condition.
Were these people shot multiple times, and were any other homes hit in the process?
No other homes were hit. As far as how many times each victim was struck, not sure. Still working through that. Still too early.
Are residents here in danger at this time?
No one is in danger. The scene has been contained, so everyone that we believe to be involved in the incident is here. So there's no need for anyone in the neighborhood to have any concerns at this point about anyone else.
Time of death for the one who did pass away, the time?
I don't have that with me, but if you give me a few, I could verify that for you.
So what's next in terms of the investigation? It's now turned into a triple shooting, now into a homicide. What's next?
So what's next is, the investigative team consisting of homicide detectives and assault squad detectives will get together. They will help each other out. They will conduct more interviews not only at the hospital, but any other potential witnesses that we have at the scene or maybe that have left the scene. And after that, we will work through verifying everything that we can to do the best we can to make sure that the scene is processed and everything goes smoothly.
Witnesses outside of the people who are involved, I mean, this is in a neighborhood. Has anyone come forward, and are people cooperating?
No one additionally has come forward since we've arrived. So I would caution and urge anybody that is in the neighborhood that has any information, that may have seen it, maybe driving by, maybe walking, maybe they're related to somebody and they left and they have information. You know, if any of those people are out there, we urge you to please come forward to help us with this investigation.
You know, a lot of times that's easier said than done. People are scared to come forward because they don't want to be caught up in drama, or they don't want to seem like they're snitching. Why is it important for people to come forward?
Well, it's important because we already know at least one person has lost their life. So because they've lost their life, it's important that that person is given an opportunity to have justice brought to their life. So again, I understand the culture. A lot of times people don't want to cooperate with the police or don't want to cooperate with the investigation because they feel that there may be retribution, but it's very, very important. You know, that could be your father, it could be your brother, it could be someone, you know, a sister, a daughter, someone that's related to you that has now been hurt, and it's important that you really reach out and try to help that person.
This is really concerning for the people that live here because this didn't happen late at night when people are in their beds, you know, safely behind doors. This was in the middle of the day. There's kids playing outside. It was sunny and hot today. What's your message to anybody trying to, you know, just commit an act of violence in general, but let alone in the middle of a neighborhood setting in the middle of the day?
Sure. Again, you know, we have unusually high temperatures for this time of year. You know, not necessarily making any type of excuses, because regardless of the temperature, regardless of the weather, you know, this is something that is completely unacceptable in terms of violence, and we all want to feel safe and secure in our neighborhoods. But I will tell you that it is highly unusual to be so warm this time of year, and again, we have no clues yet, and it's still early in the investigation, so I'm not necessarily blaming it on the weather, but I definitely think, you know, with it being extremely mild, you know, more people are outside, more people are active, which is unusual for this time of year in Central Ohio. So I would tell people, no matter where you live, no matter what neighborhood you're in, to make sure that, you know, you're always vigilant. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Make sure you know your neighbors. Make sure you see anything that could be possibly unusual, to really pay attention, especially if you have young kids, because, you know, bullets don't have names. So this could have happened to anyone, unfortunately.
Somebody watching right now might know something, but they're not going to walk up to you and tell you. Is there a way for them to contact police and do it on the low?
Sure. The best way is to call the non-emergency number and just briefly tell them, hey, you know, I think I may have information that will be helpful, and they will get you to the person in charge of the investigation, and it can be completely anonymous, as well as using Crime Stoppers too. You know, Crime Stoppers is always a number that you can call to be completely anonymous, to get information out to any investigation that we have.
We had people earlier ask us, were these teenagers involved? They're concerned about teenagers that hang out on the street. Can you say whether or not that these are, you know, younger adults or teenagers?
At this time, it's still too early to confirm any ages. So as the investigators get here, maybe we'll be able to release that. But as of now, we don't have any confirmed ages.
Have you gotten any, has this same residence gotten multiple calls before in the past, or is this the first time you guys have actually came out here?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check the record. I'm not too sure on how many times we've been here, if ever at all. So that's something I could get back to you with.
What time was the initial disturbance call?
I was just about to ask that.
Give me 1 second. Let me, if you don't mind, let me get that, because I think that is important. If you guys are good, give me a quick second to verify that.
The disturbance call and the 911 call for the shooting.
Hey, it's Fuqua. How are you? Good. Real quick, I'm out here on the 4309 precinct. Can you tell me the time that the 43 came in, please? 5:06 was the time of the shooting? Okay. What about the 16 prior to that? .413? And what time did that run clear? 5:06. The 16? Okay. Oh, they duped it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. That's all I needed. Anything else on? Okay, thank you. Bye.
I was going to ask who called 911.
You know what? Let me find that out. Hey, it's Fuqua again. Real quick, who was the caller on the 43 out here on 9 Precinct?
First caller was a Rosa for me.
Okay. And there were more than one call? Oh, okay. Oh, that's all right. Oh. Okay, no, that's okay. That's all I needed. Thank you. Bye. Just female caller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unrelated to.
I don't know. Not sure 100% on that, but
Is there anything? Sorry, go ahead.
Just to clarify, you said the 3 people who were shot were related.
yes.
Were they all
They
shot
all
on the
appear to
same-
be,
on the same property?
yes.
It wasn't like neighboring properties.
Correct. All of the
You said
same
earlier-
residents,
I thought you
same
said was the earlier disturbance a disturbance between neighbors?
2 properties, yes.
2 properties involved in the initial call.
The initial disturbance when officers were out here was between the house that is a scene and another neighbor.
Right next door.
But it's
adjacent.
not clear whether or not this
Shooting is
necessarily related to the
correct.
domestic
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Correct. Sorry, that I guess that is kind of confusing. So again, to clarify that, we were originally out here on a disturbance not at the residence that we are currently at, involving a dispute between the people who live there and another residence. Does that make sense?
At another residence.
Correct.
In this
So it's
area.
not necessarily next door, to be clear.
Is that
So
is it on this road, Zettler?
yes, it is between another property owner on the street and the house that we are currently at. So after that dispute was cleared, we
At the
left.
property owner's house.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we left, and when we came back, the second call was the house we are now at question. There was a female caller from that residence who called us on 911 in
At
regards
that
to the
home?
shooting.
The home where the shooting happened?
Yes. Yes.
So the original call was an address
I can get it for you once
Do you have
we're
the
done.
address of the original disturbance property where the disturbance occurred?
I don't have that, no.
Okay, but
So
it's on the street.
yes.
So, and then at the second property is where the shooting actually occurred.
yes, and
Involving
again,
the people who were involved in the original disturbance.
yes.
Different homeowner. All 3 were involved in this. No?
The second time.
Yes. Were all 3 the people who were shot? All 3 were they involved in the first disturbance?
We know at least one of those 3 people were involved in the disturbance, yes, but I don't know if all 3 of them were involved in it.